The stories you are about to see are real. The rewards up to $5 million are real. This is Crime Reports and Rewards with Griff Griffin and Dave Michaels, where you stay anonymous, the criminals don't.
Last week, if you've been visiting us on our Facebook pages, you found out things sometimes before they happened, or as they were happening, or just seconds after they happened. Such as this week, we found out that if you live near Somerset Way and Wheeler Road and Walton Way, that there were car break-ins taking place as you read the posting. If you watch Crime Reports and Rewards on Comcast 103, WOW 151, or Charter 96 and other local channels, sometimes Crime Reports and Rewards is giving you the news before it happens. Such as last week, we reported how the police are stuck between greedy government that's turning them into glorified bill collectors and misled concerned citizens who sometimes are not doing the right thing. Right after we reported that dangerous situation, 2 of New York's finest were assassinated by a career criminal from Atlanta who we told you was the new Juarez over a year ago and warned that killers would be coming from that area. That's getting out in front of the news in a way that helps you predict what's going to happen before it happens, so you can prepare in advance for what is most likely going to happen. That helps you and your loved ones make plans for what's going to happen. So go to your computer as soon as you can and make your home page on your computer the AugustaCrimeStoppers.org or Crime Reports and Rewards Facebook page as your home page. That way, every time you turn on your computer, you see the news sometimes before it happens, as it's happening, or only seconds after it happened, to get a form of a crime forecast that can help you and your loved ones determine what to wear out the door, such as a form of self-defense or your personal carry, dependent on the conditions that you may encounter or direction you're headed. If you see any crime or know anything that the entire world needs to know, post it on our AugustaCrimeStoppers.org or Crime Reports and Rewards Facebook pages, and it'll go right on in seconds, so the whole world will be able to like it and see what you posted in seconds too. Also, if you go to our AugustaCrimeStoppers.org website and click on the donate button, you can make a tax-deductible donation to drop your tax rate to the next lower tax rate so you don't have to pay as much in taxes. Thank you for supporting Augusta Crime Stoppers, Crime Reports and Rewards, where you stay out in front of the news and get paid. County Sheriff's Office is looking for the white female you see on your screen. They say that she stole 12 bottles of perfume and cologne from the Evans Target last week, including bottles of Gucci, Versace, Polo Blue, Tommy Boy, Hugo, Coach, Burberry, Tommy Girl, and others. She allegedly hid the perfume in her purse and spent 10 minutes in the bathroom before she walked out without paying. Store managers didn't realize the theft had occurred until watching surveillance tapes later. That's when they observed her and on video getting into a white Ford pickup that appeared to be a white Chevrolet 1500 extended cab pickup. If you think you know who or where this white female perfume thief may be, please call the Columbia County Sheriff's Office at 706-541-2800. Crime Stoppers at 800-222-TIPS. Or text your tips to tips@AugustaCrimeStoppers.org, where you remain anonymous and stop thieves. Richmond County Sheriff's deputies are investigating a Hepzibah man's claim one of his roommates may have stole a lottery ticket worth $50,000. If you know anything about this or many of the other thousands and thousands and thousands of crimes, many of which are never even reported, please call your police or Crime Stoppers at 800-222-TIPS, or send your tips to tips@AugustaCrimeStoppers.org, where you remain anonymous and get paid. The Jones County Sheriff's Office is looking for the white male you see on your screen. John Doyle Cummings is wanted by the Jones County Sheriff's Office for violation of probation. If you think you know where John Doyle Cummings may be, please call 706-742-2330, where you remain anonymous and get paid.
Crime Reports and Rewards would like to take a moment to wish you and yours a very Merry Christmas. We'll be back with more Crime Reports and Rewards after these messages.
Somebody picked the wrong girl.
And now, this Crime Reports and Rewards special report.
And now, more lunacy from the lunatic left gun grabbers. A startling new anti-gun ad encourages children to commit a felony by stealing their parents' loaded guns and turning them over to school officials. The Daily Caller reported Monday Sleeper 13 Productions released the controversial video on December 13th. It shows a pouty young boy wandering into his parents' bedroom, stealing his parents' loaded handgun out of their drawer, and then shoving it into his backpack. The startling new anti-gun ad released by the San Francisco-based production company encourages your child to steal things from your home. Walk into school property, which if a child walks onto school property with a loaded handgun, it is a felony. Then they are telling your children to take the loaded handgun out of their backpack in front of the entire class and slam it down on the teacher's desk. In the video, after the class, he approaches the teacher, who takes the gun out of his backpack and slams it onto her desk. This video, the gun grabbers are spreading all over America, is telling your children to violate several very serious felony laws. This is how desperate the gun grabbers are to disarm law-abiding citizens who have not violated any laws. Yet we see that many gun grabbers have been arrested for having illegal guns, not having a concealed carry permit, not going through any of the paperwork or registration procedures that they want you to follow. Remember, gun grabbers are trying to grab your guns, not give up their own arsenals of guns. If you know of a gun grabber who's telling everybody to give up your gun, but has an illegal gun himself, which is just about all of them, please call the police. Crime Stoppers at 800-222-TIPS, or text your tips to tips at AugustaCrimeStoppers.org, where you remain anonymous and are able to defend yourself. Now for a Crime Reports and Rewards exclusive report. Hackers are taking advantage of Level 3 Microsoft techs being on Christmas and New Year's vacation to raid bank accounts and PayPal accounts coast to coast. Augusta Crime Stoppers has launched a nationwide hacker hunt to find them and put them in jail. They have over 100 hackers working in a call center. Your computer will pop up a window that says you have a serious problem and to call the Uverse, Comcast, WOW, or other internet provider tech support you see on your screen. And their sign on your screen will be a counterfeit of your local tech support down to the tiniest detail. When you call them, they're going to be totally convincing that you're talking to tech support. They'll ask permission to get rid of the malware, and almost everybody is giving them permission to get rid of the malware. Unfortunately, they'll have access to your PayPal and all other accounts, including Facebook passwords. If you've had this happen, pull out your internet service provider bill and call tech support on the bill to try to remove the malware. You may also want to change your passwords. Good luck on this.
If you are a victim, you can try this. Go to superantispyware.com and download the free edition. That's all you need to remove the malware. And now, this Crime Reports and Rewards special report.
The Obama nation has dropped all sanctions against the military regime running Cuba so they can armor back up and threaten the U.S. in record time again. This deal has sucker written all over it for us. There's still a cop killer living large under the Cuban government. Notice they haven't turned her over.
Joanne Chesimard is wanted for escaping from prison in Clinton, New Jersey while serving a life sentence for executing a cop. On May 2nd, 1973, Chesimard, who is part of a revolutionary activist organization known as the Black Liberation Army, and two accomplices were stopped for a motor vehicle violation on the New Jersey Turnpike by two troopers with the New Jersey State Police. At the time, Chesimard was wanted for her involvement in several felonies, including bank robbery. When the troopers walked up to her car, Chesimard and her accomplices opened fire on the troopers with automatic weapons just because they were cops. One trooper was wounded and the other was shot and killed execution style at point-blank range by Chesimard. Chesimard fled the scene but was subsequently apprehended. In 1977, Chesimard was found guilty of first-degree murder, assault and battery of a police officer, assault with a dangerous weapon, assault with intent to kill, illegal possession of a weapon, and armed robbery. She was sentenced to life in prison. On November 2nd, 1979, the Black Liberation Army kidnapped guards and hijacked a car to help Chesimard escape from prison. Now living off Fidel Castro and the Cuban people, Chesimard is writing books to support black Muslim terrorists while basking in the sun on Cuba. Chesimard has scars on her chest, stomach, left shoulder, and left knee. She is 5'7" and weighs 135 to 150 pounds. Chesimard goes by her black Muslim name of Asada Shakur, like her deceased nephew Tupac Shakur. Photos coming out of Cuba show Chesimard to be a happy, smiling, fit, and seemingly well-rested tourist on an extended vacation.
The FBI has offered a $1 million reward to anyone that can turn Joanne Chesimard over to American authorities anywhere, including Cuba. If you can get to Joanne Chesimard, call our tip line at 1-800-222-TIPS or email us at tips@AugustaCrimeStoppers.org, where you can remain anonymous and become a millionaire.
Now for an update on the Hester Jackson murder, Richmond County Sheriff's Office Lieutenant Blaze Dresser called a press conference on the 2700 block of Willis Foreman Road to announce a cash reward of up to $9,000 for the arrest and conviction of those responsible for the murder of 56-year-old Hester Jackson. Police are still searching for the shooter or shooters responsible for killing Mr. Jackson as he arrived home on Willis Foreman Road. Those who knew him say Jackson was a quiet gentleman who kept to himself and recently married a woman from North Carolina. AugustaCrimeStoppers.org has added another $1,000 reward payable upon the arrest of the shooters, so any witnesses that may come forth will have cash now and later should a conviction occur, bringing the total amount of the reward in the Hester Jackson case to up to $10,000.
Okay, you guys are offering $9,000. We just added another $1,000 to it for Augusta Crime Stoppers. So now you can tell people that the reward is up to $10,000 total. Okay? Is there anything y'all would like to tell the whole world? Who do you think did this? Just what do you think? Who, what, where, any clues?
If you have any information about the Hester Jackson murder as he arrived at his home on Willis Foreman Road, please call Lieutenant Blaze Dresser or Investigator Calvin Chu at 706-821-1020 or AugustaCrimeStoppers.org at 706-722-1010, where you'll always remain anonymous and get a cash reward.
And now, this Crime Reports and Rewards special report.
Does a Crime Reports and Rewards special investigation reveal Eric Garner was killed because sheriffs are being dictated to by lawyers working for tax wasters to collect taxes and eliminate access to legal and health services? We, like the Founding Fathers, are being taxed to death and being criminalized by tax wasters who are making things like selling loose cigarettes, typing a letter, typesetting at printing companies, working as a secretary, or even suggesting you plead not guilty a crime. Now one man, Eric Garner, is dead. Our Founding Fathers were so sick of the tea tax and the King of England's constant interference in their everyday lives, that they dumped tea into the sea, which was a big deal to all those British Americans back then. Yet that same kind of stranglehold is what killed 43-year-old Eric Garner. A lot of Americans want to make his death into a race thing. However, it's clear that it's an access to the American dream thing. Tax wasters sicked the police on Eric Garner because tax wasters wanted every penny of taxable revenue from his sales of loose cigarettes, an act which cost Eric Garner his life. Lawyers who write the laws that create the taxes and set Americans at each other's throats hide behind the mask of government and attack your wallet and freedom from every angle to exact the last drop of blood and freedom they can to support their buying of votes and forming of cartels to protect their tax-wasting lifestyles. In a recent release on ExxonMobil's earnings, we saw they only earned about 5.5 cents for every gallon of gasoline and other petroleum products sold in the United States. But tax wasters in state and local governments collected 40 to 60 cents per gallon in taxes. The federal gasoline tax is the same from coast to coast. It had been 18.4 cents a gallon, which may be higher by the time this goes to air, which means any variations have been implemented by state and local governments. Several states are now headed to crossing the 70 cent per gallon threshold. Here's what happened in January 1st, 2014 to your taxes, not to mention you're being cut off from access to legal and health care. Top income brackets went from 35% to 39.6%. Top income payroll tax went from 37.4% to 52.2%. Capital gains taxes went from 15 to 28%. Dividend taxes went from 15% to 39.6%. Total taxes paid by some citizens in 2005 was 53.2%. Total taxes paid by some U.S. citizens in 2013 was 58.5%. We're not saying we don't want to pay taxes. Actually, we would love to pay taxes to be able to make more money in ways that we know we can make more money. But that would break the yoke of control government is trying to force down our throats. And this is what we object to. All these new taxes and all these stripping of rights and all these criminalizing of the citizen do not include the board unauthorized practice of law who is engaged in a witch hunt and power grab to obliterate citizens' rights by obliterating probable cause. Probable cause is the way most attorneys win cases. Probable cause is the way doctors do most of their diagnoses. Cause is being eliminated in favor of tax user legislation. In other words, if they say it's wrong, even if it's not the cause, they're right because of the centralization of power to a smaller and smaller group of people who have total and complete life and death stranglehold power over more and more people, which is exactly what our Constitution, Bill of Rights, and everything America stands for is against. If they can strip you of your right to legal and medical access, they can silence any objection you have to being taxed to death. Now you're simply typing certain legal documents may be ruled as the unauthorized practice of law. The unauthorized practice of law used to be a non-attorney walking to a court of law and telling a judge he's an attorney. Now, tax wasters are using unauthorized practice of law statutes to make almost every aspect of your life a criminal offense. Unauthorized practice of law charges are even being levied against lawyers who send a letter into a jurisdiction where they're not licensed. But recently, tax wasters have used these laws as a weapon to protect monopolies on access to legal and health services. This is bad news for the general public and is yet another form of hidden taxation without representation. Or they're criminalizing the citizen. Everyone now knows Obamacare was passed into law fraudulently and is criminalizing the citizen. Pre-printed legal forms like rental agreements and power of attorneys sold in Office Depots around the country, and access to your own medical records without going through a tax waster crony is being outlawed. A major problem with unlicensed practice of law statutes is underscored by the fact the legal profession has had an infamously difficult time defining what the practice of law is. In short, it varies from state to state and changes with the times. Too often, the definitions center on what citizens can't do instead of what lawyers and doctors can. Tax wasters tell us their primary concern is to protect and serve the public. Now our highways are being blocked. Our international enemies are using this to undermine the U.S. government. And Eric Garner's gasping for air and clearly saying, "I can't breathe, I can't breathe, I can't breathe." Does he look like he or anyone else is being protected or served? If tax wasters weren't forcing cops to be filthy lucre collectors for everyone from lawyer cartel protection brackets to keeping drug prices at all-time highs for the FDA, they might have more time to chase real bad guys that are axe-murdering females than drowning them in running bathtubs to cover up the rape evidence. Your lawmakers hold their reins. When your lawmakers make bad law, this is the result. Call your lawmakers and tell them to call off the dogs of war before it's too late. In other words, if there's no victim, then there is no need to sick our Leos on them. This will dramatically impact violent, mean, and nasty bad guys who are hiding behind the shortage of good cops, too busy with non-victim crime to stop the worst of society's offenders.
You've been watching Crime Reports and Rewards with Griff Griffin and Dave Michaels, where you stay anonymous, the criminals don't. If you have any information on these or any other crimes, call our national tip line at 1-800-222-TIPS. Well, you'll stay anonymous and could get a cash reward. You can see this or any other episode of Crime Reports and Rewards on the web anytime at crimereportsandrewards.com. Crime Reports and Rewards is a production of Michaels Media.